Hey guys, Scott here. I wanted to give you an update on Convo-Lang. So I'm currently working on redoing the CLI and adding a TUI. So we're seeing an early version of it here. So nice support for the language, syntax highlighting. We have streaming mode so we can see responses come in nice and quick. But overall, going well. But what I want to show you today is some of the technology this is building on top of. So I also created a new TUI library that you can install from npm. It's convolang/TUI. And that's actually what we're going to look at today is I use the Convo-Lang VS Code extension to do a lot of the implementation. So we're gonna jump into that. But before we do, I wanted to just take a real quick moment to talk about what Convo-Lang is and kind of what it isn't. So sometimes there's comparisons drawn between Convo-Lang and other systems like Claude Code, especially when it comes to the VS Code extension. It's not really meant to be a full replacement for Claude Code. It's more for people that are looking for, really precise control over context, in a way to generate code with AI that's very auditable. I think especially we're seeing a lot of requirements for people to document how they use AI. And Convo-Lang is a really good solution for that, especially paired with the VS Code extension that we're about to look at. So let's jump into it. So I have a combo file here set up, actually a series of them to do a few things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review all the types that I've defined. Then we're going to do an interview that's going to help with the implementation and then the actual implementation. So if we look here in our combo file, first thing we're doing is we're importing this TUI or underscore TUI.convo file. So this is just setting up some basic information about the TUI. So there's two main files. There's this TUI types and Convo TUI controller. So we can take a look at those. So these are the interfaces that I've written so far. So I just did this by hand. Haven't brought in an LLM yet. And then if we go to the controller, same. I just kind of set up the basic structure that I want, but I'm going to let it implement a lot of the actual functionality here. And then we also are importing this base.convo. So I include this in pretty much all my convo scripts I use for generating content. So it has some basic rules like coding style, sets up the LLM model that I'm going to use, allows me to kind of easily switch. I can redefine the model that the runtime is going to use. Then just basic rules down here. So let's go and jump into the review. So I'm going to do Command R. I can also hit the play button. So this is sending that prompt to the LLM, doing inference. So now we'll just wait for it to come back with its review of the TUI types.ts. All right, so inference finished, and now we have it looks like the updates that it's suggesting to make to the types. So let's before I actually write this, let's open up a diff and see what it's suggesting to change. So now this is a really helpful one. So the TUI controller, it's going to manipulate the console through this TUI console interface, and basically so I don't have to have a direct dependency on Node. And so if you did want to use some other implementation of the console, you could. I asked it to basically bring forward the minimal set of APIs for both the read and write streams, or std in or std out. And it's added that, so pretty helpful. This all looks good. I'm good. I'm going to hit the write output button here, so that's going to actually save that to our tuis.type file. I'm going to open this file up. Now we're going to do an interview. So this is kind of our in-between step of actually having the LLM implement this TUI or Convo TUI class. So I'll go ahead and run this. Again, I just press Command R, and you can also hit the play button there if you want. All right, so now we just wait for inference to complete. All right, so it looks like a pretty detailed interview here. Actually, very detailed. So I think for this, I'm going to go ahead and go into split screen mode here. Bring my cursor down, and I'll start filling this out, and then I'll come back once I've filled out all the interview questions. Okay, I lied. I'm actually going to try something else. I just don't feel like completing this long interview. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to delete that last message here. And we're going to change our prompt up a little bit. Complete a response. We're going to say, give me. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so this is better. We're going to go one by one, a lot easier than having a long list of questions to try to fill out. All right, and 12 questions. I like it gave me a little status there of question 1 or 12. Pass and say equal pass. All right, question 2. Should combo controller manage active screen? Let's do A and B. Should combo to support public navigation methods? One thing I want to do before we start the actual implementation is I want it to apply these changes. So we had to add a few properties to the options. So I wanted to just apply those changes. So I'm going to say apply. So one big reason we don't want it to do the full implementation yet is we have another file set up to do so. But it also, there's no need to pull in, pull in the full context of this interview. Actually, one thing I'll also have it do is I'll just put I'll put this summary, or actually I'll have it generate a good set of notes for implementation. So I get stored in that notes.nb file that's included as part of the TUI base import here. Okay, so it looks like, yep, we got 2 files that are changed. Let's check our diff. All right, so we got some, let's see, so we added our default screen and the theme, looks like. And it actually kind of looks like it just did a lot of implementation. Okay, maybe not. Okay, and more or less just added what it was talking about. So that's fine. Didn't want it to really do the full, especially the render pass initially. So we'll go and write that. Open our diff for our types. Oh, actually, no, that's our notes. That's also what we wanted here is we wanted some notes to be passed to our implementation combo file. So we'll go and write that output. All right, so we are good to start the implementation. Okay, we got a question. Let's see, what scope do you want me to implement? So it'll focus on implementation, then we can have it update notes afterwards. All right. Up on our diff, probably a pretty big diff. All right. Not gonna lie, a lot of it I'm not really sure about, so we'll just have to test, figure out. All right, output. I'll say update notes. Okay, test. Okay, looks good. Right output. Integrated terminal, and now we'll say button screen test. Hey, that looks pretty good. All right. What do we got here? So we have a help screen, and we have some navigation on the side. We have type here. Can I click right there? Oh, I can. This is a button. Windows deletes correctly. All right, how do we? All right, help screen. Okay, so today, as tomorrow, I had some time to do some testing with the result of the model's output from yesterday. There's actually not a whole lot need to be changed. The biggest thing was actually, so I've already committed some of the changes, but there was, let's see, there was the update spray. Yeah, here we go. So I added these update spray methods. So these are just, I just added this manually, typing with my fingers. So one thing that I had forgot, I really didn't think about, is the example that the model created. If we go here into screen test, was previously just directly making updates to some of the test sprites that it made. So I had to change that to where, let's see if we look at some of the on clicks, and now uses this update sprite. Before it was just doing something like status.text equals, and then since basically since this structure here, these sprite definitions, those get copied and converted into sprite objects, and those references don't point at the actual sprites anymore. So after making that update, and then also adding adding some support for active colors, basically makes the result a lot better. So we'll take a look at what this looks like now. So as I tab around, we can see active color states, and then the updating all works now. So as I type here, that then updates the input field, or basically the status message there. And then if we click on the button there, that updates that status field again. You can either click, use the space bar, or enter button to activate buttons. All right, so real quick, I just wanted to point out one reason you want to review code that AI generates. Obviously, you always do want to, but this is going to affect sort of the long-term maintenance of this TUI controller class. So before adding the line wrapping support, I wanted to add text alignment support. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So here we have the counter, and I wanted that aligned to the right, and then I wanted the title for the screen to be aligned center. Then obviously you can think of 100 other reasons why you'd want to have text alignment support. But it had the support, and it works great. I have no complaints about it, other than the way that it did handle the implementation. So text alignment is an inherited property, and to pass along inherited properties, it's just added this parent text alignment property to all the functions that handle drawing. And I know in the future, I'm going to probably have other properties that are inherited, and I definitely don't want to fall into the trap of just adding more and more parameters, because that may slightly be okay for LLMs to work with, but if I want to go in and make changes, that's going to be a nightmare. So I'm just going to correct that. So I'm going to go back to the Convo file that I was using to generate the that change. So you can see here what I told it to do. Add support for text wrapping of inline sprites. Text alignment should only be applied to inline text. Text alignment should be inherited from its nearest ancestor, if undefined. So here's its result came back with. Actually, you write the notes real quick back to it. Text. Okay. All right. So got that prompt written out. So I'm going to do something similar, but just instead of having this single property text line to pass down, um, we'll just we'll just pass down an object that'll store all the inherited properties. That way, it's just easier to to add more inherited properties as needed. All right, so let's go and run that. All right, so here's what we got. Let's open a diff. Don't necessarily like the spreading behavior here, but we'll leave it for now. Really, make for unneeded allocations. Yeah, so looks good. So we're going to write the output. And then we will just confirm that, all right, looks like our text is still aligned as we want it. Centered text at the end. Just kind of resize. There we go. So resizing and no crazy flickering either. Imagine that. All right. So I'm going to do the text wrapping next. All right. So got text wrapping implemented. So here you can see the combo file that I use for doing the implementation. Added a few types, to better define how text wrapping is handled. After I added those properties, I ran this prompt here, and we got our actually found one spelling mistake in there, and it updated the TUI types file for me, so I appreciated that. And then updated the TUI controller class, then updated its notes. And then one thing I realized in my demo, I didn't really have a way to test the different forms of text wrapping, so I had it add a text wrapping screen here. So if we go into that screen, we can see basically all the different styles of text wrapping. So we'll demonstrate those. So you can see, just normal wrapping here where it's breaking on words. Even added a very long word here so we can see what it, like default wrapping, how it works with really long words that don't have anywhere to break on. We have an example of our hard wrapping, so you can see the hard wrap, it's just cutting the words. And then we have some examples of clipping. So we have clips with the ellipses, so you can see the ellipses character, or clip with no clipping style. So it just cuts the text at the end of the visible area. And then some examples with new lines, and even a example with our centered text. So as we go through all these, the one that I was really happy that it was able to implement without problem was the default wrapping, where it encounters really long words that don't have an area to break on, but it does seem to do that well. So yeah, text wrapping implemented, works well. So one thing, I don't know if we've really looked at the notes that the model's been keeping as it's been doing our updates, but one thing that it added is deferred future work. So, and instead of writing all the Convo scripts manually, I decided to actually have Convo write them. So I just told told it to implement the future work in the TUI notes.md files instead of Convo scripts. Gave it the naming convention to use that I've been using, an example of one of the scripts, and then then ran that. Came back with basically this list here that we're looking at as a set of files. Um, and one thing you can do, I haven't really opened the Convo blocks file, but anytime you open up a Convo file and it has the file content blocks, you can actually navigate through those. So you can click on them, write the output, or you can just write, hitting this double check button. That'll write all. I've already written it, so I'll skip that over. But yeah, so after that, now we basically have a set of all of the Convo scripts to run to implement the features that I identified that are missing. So I'm gonna step through all these. And then I'll come back and we'll take a look at the final result of our zero dependencies TUI library. All right, so I finished stepping through all the Convo scripts and got all the recommended features implemented, and then a bunch more that I thought would be nice to haves. So this is what we have. A big obvious feature that we got is image support. So you can load images in. I just have the Convo-Lang logo here. Support for animations. The animations are done in a way to where only the animated area of the screen is updated. So I don't think I got into the implementation of the way the screen updates are written, but there's a front and back buffer similar to like game development. But as these different animations run, they only update this small section of the screen. 'Cause for every character that gets updated, you have to send a set of ASCII escape sequences, so don't want to repaint the whole screen for small animations. Here's an example of a lot more animations, so you can see a big matrix style rain, some progress bars, more spinners. um, and then I had options too, to where you can either have the animation span like the full layout area of a sprite or be aligned to its contents, like this example here where these letters are being animated. The animation is only updating, just the section where the letters are, not this entire, empty area there. But yeah, see, it's checkout, mouse events. So one thing that wasn't working properly before was scrolling. So that's all fixed now. So we have nice smooth scrolling that works well and clips properly. See, we have some rich text support, so you can see examples of rich text there. See, I think, we already went over text wrapping. Here's an example of some grid layouts. Good support for grid layouts. So we can see as we resize, all of our content and grid layout resizes properly. Same with flex layout. End up actually adding gap as well, so you can set gap between different properties. I think this screen's actually a little out of space. Expand that so you can kind of see here where we have some examples of gap plus margin and padding. Let's see, and then absolute positioning. So you can position sprites over top of the rest of the screen. So if you wanted to have like some type of modal of some sort, you could use absolute positioning for that. Yeah, I think that kind of covers, all the features that were added. But let's take a look at the Convo scripts. So you can see all together there are about 25 that were ran. And in general, each one of these scripts represent, just kind of a small incremental change. But the nice part is, for someone who's not myself, that didn't sit here and run all these prompts and do the testing, you can very easily go back and actually see, kind of the thought process behind how the prompting was done, how the code got generated, and even kind of see a diff of the so we can open a diff from this point when we did the image. I think here I was implementing image centering so that the image could be centered in the screen versus just being up in the top left. But you can kind of see the difference in the code from that prompt to where it is now. But yeah, I think overall, this was really successful. And in the end, what we have is actually a really clean zero dependency TUI library that's really just built out of a pretty small set of files that is really easy to distribute and reuse in other projects. So basically, you can run this in Node or Bun or any JavaScript environment that you'll have access to the console. No need to bring in a bunch of dependencies to do so. So yeah, that was kind of an overview of building an actual piece of functioning software with Convo-Lang and the VS Code extension. I'll put links at the bottom for everybody to download the extension. I'll put a link to where you can download this example here. It'll just be a single JavaScript file that you can run with Node or a bun with just a real simple just load it up and run it as a single file. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.